Hey, what's going on, you guys? How long has it been since I've actually done one of these on this channel? A vlog, a face thing, a non-gaming video. It's been a long time. Let me know down in the comments if you were there, if you remember when that was. You might have to search back. It's been a long time, but the funny thing is this big light that I have right here shining on my face, it's been set up the whole time because I've actually I had planned out stuff, right? I plan out things to do. And usually I never follow through. I don't know what that is about me. I get distracted very easily. I found that out in recent months that I'm easily distracted. But I have this light is huge. It's a huge light dome. It takes up half the room. It's just been sitting here just for these because I wanted to do them once a week. I thought it'd be cool to check in once a week. But we just finished. I just finished playing Night of the Dead. It's done. It was a fun game. Wasn't as much fun for people to watch, which is cool. You can't hit it out of the park every single time. I enjoyed playing it. Gonna be moving on to something else. I'm not 100% sure what yet. Now I want to talk a little bit about that here, and take a day break from a gaming video on here and just say what's up, because I do things in other places that not everyone gets to see, like live streaming and my Chris X channel. I don't do them nearly as often as I do things on here, right? So that's why I think it's cool to check in here with you guys, because a lot of you guys watch the YouTube channel, right? So what's up? How have you guys been? I hope you guys are all doing well, right? Because it's what a crazy year, right? Now, one of the things I want to talk about with gaming, I know I've probably said this, a lot before, but why do all the game developers, not all the game developers, why do so many AAA titles come out in November? October, November. I know, oh, it's for the holiday season. Well, look, the year is a long time. Can't we just spread it out a little bit? Like, look, okay, can we tell, say, Activision and, all these other companies, look, let's not, they wouldn't work with each other, that's for sure. We need, like, I'll volunteer to be the president of the gaming commission to the developers. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, look, we're going to spread the titles out throughout the year. That way there's always something fun for us to play. Now, in my opinion, I think it would work out for everyone. Let's say you're Call of Duty and your Assassin's Creed, both coming out in November. Well, let's say that Call of Duty stays there because it's been there forever. You get to stay there. But let's say Assassin's Creed comes out summertime or something, right? Well, then there's everyone who's going to play Assassin's Creed to begin with are going to play it. And then there's other people like, well, Call of Duty isn't out, so I'm going to check out Assassin's Creed, right? You see what I'm getting at? That you're probably going to bring in more people because they're not going to be focused on one of the other new drops, right? And then this year, who knows how this is going to work out, but Cyberpunk is due to come out in the same month, right? And people have been looking for Cyberpunk for years. Years. Can it live up to the hype? Right? I've said a lot that games in the last, I don't know, I would say the last 8 years. The last 8 years. Because you'd have to go back 8 years because a lot of these things get hyped over a 3-year period of time. You remember I said there were some games that they would be highlighted at E3. Highlighted at E3. Then they would go another E3 and not say anything about it. And then the following year, the third E3, they would highlight it saying, coming out next year, 4 years. There's a lot of games that do that. Now, is that, hey, don't forget about me? Or, games that have such a long time in between releases, like, say, Fallout, for example. That's a long time in between releases. And if they need to hype it up so people don't forget about them, I guess in a way I could understand that. But maybe don't hype. Telling me that there's a Fallout game or a Far Cry game or any of those my favorite series telling me, hey, there's a new one coming out July of 2021. I'm good to go. Start hyping me up when we get closer to it, but not 3 years out. But that's neither here nor there. And same thing goes for, like, we were talking about spreading the games out throughout the year. The reason I'm saying this is because I want games to play all year long. I don't want to wait and then they all get dumped on me at the same time. Same thing with Call of Duty, right? So there's some people that would be playing Assassin's Creed first. Well, they already played it. Now they can play some Call of Duty, right? Now they both have to compete with Cyberpunk, right? Now they're both having all three dropping at the same time. For me, it's not that big of a deal. I'm going to pick a game and I'm going to play it. I'm probably going to play Assassin's Creed first, right? Because a game like Cyberpunk, everyone and their brother's going to play it. Every streamer, every YouTuber, they're all going to play it, post it, and it's going to get beat to death. And I would rather, and I've done this a lot in the past, I would rather play some of these other games and then maybe after all the hype drops down and hopefully give the people a little bit of time to say, yeah, let's watch Meaty play Cyberpunk now. Play it, a little bit later. Give it a month or two or something like that. Or not. Who knows? I might jump hip deep in it. I don't really know yet, but I'm not afraid of waiting a little bit as long as there's another kind of AAA title that I'm going to be focusing on, like Assassin's Creed. So that should be really interesting. One of the other interesting things that just happened, and I get a lot of my information from you guys when we're on the live stream. My chat is really active. We communicate about all kinds of different stuff and games. Somebody told me Microsoft bought ZeniMax, which is Bethesda, for $7-point-something billion. Billion dollars. That's a lot of money. Hook a brother up. Call me. $7.5 billion. Now, ZeniMax is obviously a parent company that probably owns a lot of other stuff, but one of their, the big things is Bethesda. Now, Microsoft has done this before. They're doing this. I don't even have to read an article. It's business. They're doing it so they can bring exclusives to the Xbox, so people will buy the Xbox instead of the new PlayStation, right? It's a business move. Microsoft has always done this through the years. They've consistently done it. They can do it, right? Because they're Microsoft. They've got all of our Windows money. You know what I'm saying? And, well, I can't knock them for taking a shrewd business move. But really, I'm like, make a good console that holds up in the competition, do good marketing and all that. But this is their way of doing it. I'm sure the Xbox is going to be up to spec. I think that in this day and age, technology, you can't just say, you can't. I don't think that PlayStation 4 was like way better than Xbox as far as technically. Maybe it was here and there, there's arguments on both sides or whatever, but technically speaking, if you want to play on console, you could play on either one. Maybe PlayStation did a better job of marketing. Maybe they had better exclusives. Maybe they just had a better price at release, which I think they did, right? They undercut them. This year, they're both the same price. Whatever it is, I don't know. But a deal like this, it only hurts us, the gamers. I always say that. It only hurts us. If you're a fanboy or fangirl or fan gamer of one console or the other, if you're brand loyal, like, oh my gosh, don't talk bad about my brand, I own stock in it, if you're so blinded by brand loyalty that you're going to argue with me that I had already like kind of understood what the argument would be from fan gamers. Well, let's say this is I was going to say X. This is A and this is B console, right? So you're A console, and A console is the one that bought out the thing. And you say, well, if B console had the money and they bought it out, you guys would do the same thing and be crying, you see what I'm saying? It goes back and forth. It only hurts both gamers, really. All gamers in general. But hopefully it won't. And I say this knowing that it's not really going to hurt me. Why? Because I play on PC more than I play on console. And Microsoft being Windows, everything that's on Xbox, I can play on my PC through the Windows Store. And your Xbox is on your Windows 10 PC. It's all there. You log in just like you're playing Xbox. And a lot of the games now, you can play on here. Even if they're, I think even if they're in like an exclusive Xbox thing, Windows is included in there. So I'm not saying this to complain because I'm going to be affected. I'm being your voice. And maybe you haven't even thought about this, but being your voice that this could affect you. One of the biggest examples of this was the Call of Duty fiasco when originally Microsoft, put in all the money for Call of Duty to go exclusive for a period of time. Sometimes it was 1 month, sometimes it was 3 months. I don't think there was any outright exclusive. I think it was always timed exclusive. I could be wrong there, but I know when Sony got a hold of it, it was always, well, you know what? I would be making it up if I said that. Let's just say they both were timed exclusive. So eventually the other side console would get it. But it hurt us as gamers. It didn't matter if you were Xbox or if you were PlayStation. At some point, you were hurt by the Microsoft thing going back and forth. Sony said, all right, you want to play that game? We're going to put up our Sony money. And they bought into Activision and got exclusives. And that's when PlayStation really started to kind of arc and take off. Because this was still when Call of Duty was like the thing to play. And it's just gone back and forth. You can't argue with the sales from last generation of consoles. The PS4 outsold the Xbox by a pretty fair margin. And I think that Microsoft doesn't want that to happen again. They both have brought the technology of these consoles up to where they're like basically a PC. You're going to be playing at the same level, which is great news for all of us. That's what healthy competition does. It pushes this up. And remember this. Remember this. This is important because you may look at a console and say, oh my God, $450. That's too much money. That's so expensive. How much were these things 5-6 years ago, last generation? The same price. They have basically brought the technology all the way up with remaining the price the same. That is competition. That's what these guys are having to outdo each other. If Xbox didn't exist, if they didn't build a new Xbox, I guarantee you, I would bet you all the money in your front pocket that the PlayStation 5 would be $800 or $1,000 for the exact same thing. But because there's competition there, Sony does a pretty good job of undercutting their competition by a little bit with either equal or superior technology. Remember, Microsoft is a software company. Now, yes, through the years they've bought all good, but in general, Microsoft has always been a software company. That's why the Xbox store was always so good versus Sony store, which was the PlayStation store was terrible through the generations, right? It's just like their cameras. Sony makes an incredible camera and their menu system sucks. Any honest Sony user would agree with me. And anyone that switched from Canon to Sony would agree with me. Sony is a hardware manufacturer. They make cameras, they make DVD players, they make electronics, right? So, of course, the hardware in the PlayStation is going to be top shelf, right? Xbox has to keep up with this, and probably some companies that they bought over the years is doing that. I guess what I'm saying in general is that healthy competition is keeping the price down with new technology for all of us, which is great. But you got to remember, in business, they can also go and buy a company like ZeniMax and get some exclusivity over onto the Xbox. Maybe it won't affect you. Look, a console could go run a whole generation and the Fallout game won't come out. Like 6 years, 8 years it could take for them to make another Fallout game, Bethesda, right? So you may buy exclusivities from Bethesda, and Bethesda's like, look, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, some of our biggest games, they don't come out for like 6 to 8 year cycles. And consoles are 5-year cycles, basically. So what does that tell you? Oops. We may have just spent $7.5 billion and we're not going to get some major titles, any exclusivity. And really, to make money, they would have to. I would think that even if I was Microsoft and I owned ZeniMax, aka Bethesda, I would do a timed exclusive. It still incentivizes people to buy the Xbox, play it there first. But if you were a PlayStation user, you own that gaming company, you still want to sell more titles because cross-platform always sells twice as much. If you're exclusive to one, you're going to sell less games, right? So if you sell to all things, you're going to sell more games. So just make it timed exclusive. Maybe even 6 months, maybe 3 months, 1/4, right? 3 months, and let it go to the Xbox first, and then say Sony gets it 3 months later. And then if you're Bethesda, aka owned by Microsoft, you're not only getting your exclusivity here and selling more consoles, but you're also selling more games to the quote unquote competition. See? I should be president. I would make you guys so much more money. Oh, just talk to me. Anyway, I love talking about this, you guys. That's why I wanted to do one of these like every week. It's just been a long time, even though I've had it completely set up. You can see my background hasn't changed. I still got jug machines and R2-D2s and creepers back there. I got all the good stuff. Anyway, I'm going to come up with what we're going to be playing next. I do want to do, there is another game. Look, I tried Crysis Remastered, and it's terrible. It's garbage. They may have done some repairs to it or whatever, but I run a RTX Titan, and I've got an extreme processor, an RTX Titan. I'm almost running 5 gigahertz, so I don't care if it's like supposedly the benchmark for pushing systems. It's not optimized pushing. And when your fans are running and it's having to do all kinds of stuff, and it wasn't really that much fun to go all the way back to 2007, was it? I like Crysis 2, really. I really like that one. So I bought it, wasted $30. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to post it. But there's a Serious Sam coming out in a couple of days. I'll probably do that and got some other stuff. But man, do we have a crazy winter, holiday season coming up of games. It's going to be stacked, and I hope you guys stick around to watch and join in on the fun with me, because we have some fun on those playthroughs. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, you guys. Thanks for hanging out. See you guys next time.